How do you get your 15-year-old to do the responsibilities around the house that they need to do? She is wanting to get a job outside the home. I told her if she couldn't do her responsibilities at home, then she would not be able to get a job.
You know what? I would use this job, and that is what I would use to motivate her. Like, if you want to get a job, that's great, and let's do that. But you also have these things you have to do, sort of like what she said. But here's the other thing. If she gets a job, they are going to be teaching her responsibility.
Yes.
And I would leverage them to sort of help you on that front. Because when you work outside the home, they expect certain things of their employees, and they want them to do things certain ways, and they want them to do it right and all that. So they're going to be teaching her all of that. And then hopefully, as she continues to grow, she will also mature. Hey everybody, welcome to Wire Talk. Well, last week we talked about potty training, and this week we're going fast forward and we're getting to the teen years. And sometimes these years can be the most challenging for parents. These are great questions that the moms wrote in, and I cannot wait to dive in and to give them some tools to put in their tool belt to help them with the teenagers. Let's get going.
Hey moms, and welcome to Wire Talk. I'm your host, Emily, and with me is the fabulous Karen, or as I call Mom. Hello, Mom.
Hello, how are you, Em?
Good. You know, I just realized
What?
when I do the intro and I'm about to introduce you, I go really low, like this is my mom.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
I don't know why. I'm like, I'm Emily and this is my mom. That's so weird.
You got to get serious
I gotta
about
get
it.
serious.
You're so funny.
Mom, I just am so happy. It's like a crisp fall day. The leaves are rustling. It's just,
And you know what? At the part of fall, because y'all, we record this a month early. So we are in mid-October right now. And it's the best part of fall because the leaves are still on the trees. They're pretty. They're starting to fall, but they haven't all the way fallen. They're pretty colors, and it's beautiful.
I know. Well, we're talking about something hard but awesome season. We're talking about teens today. But, you know, I'm thinking about it as we're about to talk about teens. Yesterday, you had all of your kids
I did.
around the dinner table.
Yep.
You had the grandkids. The kids got in the hot tub after dinner, and all of the adult kids and their spouses
All sitting on the patio.
all sitting on the back patio. Brian built a fire. How does that make your heart feel?
Oh, amazing and wonderful. I mean, hashtag goals. I mean, it's just...
The only sad part is Dad was not there.
Yeah,
He was
he
in
wasn't. He
Auckland,
did tell
New
me to
Zealand.
send him. No, he was in Japan.
Oh, Japan. Sorry.
He was in New Zealand a few days before that. I know he moves around a lot, but yeah, he was in Japan. He did say, send me a picture of everybody around the table. He wanted to see it. So even though he wasn't there, in spirit and in heart, he was there. But I mean, I just think the fact that I have grown children and they want to come to my house, they want to spend time, and dinner was over, so everybody could have left, but they were like, let's go out on the patio. And I love the fact that, you know, your husband, my son-in-law, Brian, just jumps right in. Didn't even ask really if I wanted a fire. He just did it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that he feels so comfortable with our family that he just uses our house like his own home.
I love it.
And we all wanted the fire, so it was wonderful and great. And then, like you said, the kids got in the hot tub. They played. They had so much fun. Taylor and Sarah were there. Addie was walking around. She was comfortable.
It was so fun.
It was just sweet. And then everybody went home, and that's even better.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, before we get started, this isn't even on our thing, but, you know, for the moms who are out there asking questions, and you're going to give the great answers today, I just want to start off with basically a note of encouragement. Like, you and Dad in the teenager years, especially the teenage years, you guys were strict.
Yeah,
you had very, very realistic boundaries. We did not fit the mold of everybody in our high schools and even in my friend group, and I had great friends.
You did.
But you and Dad, like, our curfew was earlier.
Yep.
We had rules on phones, like, even back then.
Yeah.
I mean, we had rules around boys. I mean, even the prom night, we had to come home earlier. Like, I mean, it wasn't a 10 o'clock curfew, but everyone else could stay until 12:30, and ours was 11. Like,
No. Prom, you could come in later.
Okay, sorry.
Well, I mean, it's true, but I did have, after prom, I did have a big breakfast for all of y'all. All your dates came to the house. I made a big breakfast. I let them stay till 2, the boys, and then they had to go. But all your friends, They did do boy-girl spend the night parties and stuff like that, but y'all didn't.
Yeah. So I just want to be encouraging to the moms to say you can have strict rules.
Yeah.
You can lay down the law and still have a really good, and I honestly think that's why our relationship is so great at this point, even though there were times when, of course, I butted my head and I was just like, this is dumb and silly and I hate these rules. And like, I was a typical teenager who wasn't like, yay, I love boundaries. They're so great. Yay.
You know what? I just had a mom actually today write in a question about teenagers. And she said, I'm pretty strict, Mom. Am I turning my children into wild children? And I don't think that's necessarily, I think here's the key. Here's the balance. I think it's good to have boundaries and be strict with your teenagers, but also to keep the relationship strong. And that's what we did. We had a lot of conversations. It wasn't just a no. It was a no because this is why we don't want you to do the boy-girl spend the night party. I didn't want to put y'all in a position to where you got in over your head. You didn't know how to get out of it, because at the end of the day, you were still a teenager. And I didn't want you to go to parties where they were drinking and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, that's illegal for a 17-year-old. That's illegal for an 18-year-old. And I knew from my past job that the earlier someone starts to drink, the more likelihood they are to be an alcoholic. And I had seen those studies. I'd read all that. And I was like, I don't want to set my child up for that type of life.
Right.
So to where they think that's what they have to do in order to have a good time. I tried to set an environment in our home to where your friends were always welcome. I always made it, everybody's welcome. Everybody can have a good time, but we're going to have a good time just having a good time. We don't need all these extra things. And I tried to explain all that to y'all. And like you said, you didn't always love it, but y'all accepted it. Thank you, Lord. And y'all were great kids. I mean, you weren't perfect, but nobody is. But it was just like, we just sort of handled it. I loved the teenage years, but they are challenging years. Even if you have amazing kids, teenagers are challenging because their little brains are not completely formed.
Yeah.
And they do think they know it all, and they do think they're adults, and it's just very challenging.
Yeah.
So these are really good questions that we're going to get into today.
They are.
Though.
And last thing before we get started.
Yeah.
If you are listening, thank you so much for listening. But a free way you can partner and support Birds on a Wire is by subscribing to the channel. It allows us to get into other people's feeds, because I don't really know how it all works, but that's what the techie people.
Algorithm.
I know, that's what the techie people say. So if you want to encourage and support Birds on a Wire, we'd love if you could like and subscribe, because then more moms can hear your amazing advice and practical teaches inside motherhood. Well, from diapers to teenage to adult children.
Well,
even to grandparents.
The cool thing is Wire Talk is all over the world.
Which is so crazy.
Literally. I mean, it's insane. And our top 5 cities just in the U.S. is Atlanta, New York, Chicago, Seattle, Washington, and Dallas, Texas.
There you go.
That is insane to me.
That is insane.
And then all over the world, in different countries. I think we're in 114 countries or something. It's nuts.
Well, thank you for everyone who supports and listens and asks questions for Wire Talk.
We just want to get it out there for more moms to be listening, because there's a lot of mamas in this world.
Yes, and I'm ready to get going. You ready?
You are? I am too. Let's do it.
Question 1. Hi, Karen. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. It is so encouraging and easy to put into practice. How do you get your 15-year-old to do the responsibilities around the house that they need to do? Mine is extremely strong-willed, and if she does not want to do something, she plainly does not do it. She is wanting to get a job outside the home. I told her if she couldn't do her responsibilities at home, then she would not be able to get a job. Not sure if that's going to motivate her or not. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy for the relationships that you have with your daughters. I pray that I will too one day.
Well, you know what? I would use this job is what I would use to motivate her. If you want to get a job, that's great, and let's do that. But you also have these things you have to do, sort of like what she said. But here's the other thing. If she gets a job, they are going to be teaching her responsibility. Yes. And I would leverage them to sort of help you on that front. Because when you work outside the home, they expect certain things of their employees, and they want them to do things certain ways, and they want them to do it right and all that. So they're going to be teaching her all of that. And then hopefully, as she continues to grow, she will also mature. So I would leverage the employer to help instill those responsibility traits in her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if she starts at a young age of 15, that's young to be working outside the home. And so I wouldn't necessarily shoot yourself in the foot and say, you can't do that until you do this at the house. I would let her go do it. And then I just think you could work together with the employer kind of thing, if that makes sense.
It does. And then I think also some kids, like my best grades in high school and in college when I had the most on my plate.
That's true.
Because I knew I had to be strategic about my timing. So I was intentional. But when I had so much bandwidth, I just was like, I don't have to do anything. So maybe this will help her. Having a job will be like, hey, let's get this done. But you also have to put your laundry away before you go to work. She's going to make time for it. If she's strong-willed, and she's a go-getter, which, I mean, she wants a job at 15. She is a go-getter. She'll get it done.
Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily shoot yourself in the foot with saying you can't do that until you do this, because then she could just be like, all right, fine, I'm just not going to worry about it. Yeah. And then she's not doing either. But I can't tell you how many times I would tell y'all something and y'all would be like, yeah, whatever. And then somebody else outside the home would say the exact same thing. And y'all were like, oh my goodness, this is brilliant. And I'm like, yeah. Okay, great. I would let the employer help you out in this situation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
During the month of November, our hearts are especially full of gratitude for you, our listeners, and for every person who supports Birds on a Wire. Because of your generosity, moms all over the world are finding truth, encouragement, and practical help for their parenting journey.
Financially supporting Birds on a Wire has been such an easy decision for our family because we just pray that other moms can benefit from Karen's wisdom in the same way I've been able to. Karen does a great job of making kind of the difficult motherhood things seem practical. She can provide biblical wisdom and just speaks into some of the messiness of motherhood and helps us find joy and a clear path in it. For me, just practically speaking, my mom had passed away a couple years before my kids were born. And so I was researching all these books and things. And when I stumbled upon Karen's podcast, it just stuck with me. She just was really somebody that I would have in my ear while the kids were napping or while I was doing dishes. And now they're 9 and 10, and I still am finding so much wisdom and advice in listening to her. A fun fact is that now years later, we ended up at the same church and in the same small group. And in case anybody's wondering, Karen is exactly who you think she would be. She's an awesome mom and an awesome friend, and I'm super thankful to have stumbled upon Birds on a Wire.
Stories like that remind us why we do what we do, and they're made possible by the friends and supporters who give to keep this ministry going. If you'd like to be part of our support team, you can join us today by visiting boaw.mom/give. That's boaw.mom/give. Now let's get back to the show.
Question 2. I know I am not the first mama with a 13-year-old boy, but this is my first 13-year-old boy. Please help. He thinks he knows everything. Our trouble is that he tries to do everything by himself while I'm working from home in my bedroom. I enjoy the independence, but he keeps rambling through the dad's tools in the shed and leaving them all over the yard, burning stuff on the stove, killing the grass with his newest experiments, etc. He obviously loves to tinker with things. How do I encourage his independence, but not get our house destroyed in the process? Or even worse, have him get himself or his younger 10-year-old brother hurt when he knows what he's doing all by himself?
I love it. I love her. This is my first 13-year-old boy. And that's the thing. Whenever you're a parent, it is your first time going through being a parent, so you really don't know what to do.
Right.
Now I felt like this was a really creative answer. I gotta sort of brag on myself. And I don't think it was my idea. I really feel like the Lord sort of inspired me on this one.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Well, because I didn't have any children like this. None of y'all were really tinklers like that. tinkers.
Yeah, not tinklers, just tinkers. I know that potty training was last week.
Yes, Mom. That's right. Anyways, I think I would let's just break it down. So the burning the stuff on the stove, I would say, I love the fact that you are trying to cook and all that. But in order for you to have alone time in the kitchen, you have to cook so many hours with me.
Ooh.
In the kitchen, like doing it together. Right? This is inspiring. Really, y'all, I thought this was good stuff. Also, with the tools that he's doing with his dad's, I would say, in order to check out a tool out of the shed, you have to give me a deposit. Then you go do whatever it is you're going to do, and then I'll give you the deposit back.
So you're saying like he gives you $1.
Yes. To check out a drill.
And then once he gives, it's like the coins at Aldi. With the cards.
Yes. That's right. I just went there the other day. So yes, because here's what this boy is doing. He's going out to his dad's shed. He's getting all the tools. He's doing whatever he's doing, creating havoc. And then he's leaving all the tools all over the yard.
Right.
Okay. So when he has to give a deposit to check it out, and then you give him the deposit back whenever he turns it in, it's creating two things. First off, it's going to have a conversation. Mom, I want to check out Dad's drill. I'm going to give you $5 for the deposit. And you got to make it to where it's enough it's going to get his attention. And then you say, what do you want to do with the drill? And it helps you understand what he's doing before he gets into it.
Smart.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
And then it also teaches him how to put the tool away, and then he gets his money back. So they're not laying all over the yard all the time, and you're not having lectures all the time. And honestly, I would put a lock on the shed just to ensure that he's going through this process. It's not that you don't trust him, but you're teaching him, hey, these are, and they probably should be locked up anyways. These are, not always great to have out for everybody. So we're going to lock them. Then you come give us your deposit. We'll give you the tool. We'll talk it through. And then you do your project, and then you bring it back and you get your money back.
Mom, really top-notch answers.
I was proud of myself on this one. Well, I really was.
If you need the Lord to answer a question through these teenage questions, then it's evident that you need the Lord when you're parenting in the teenage years.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Always.
He will guide your path straight.
That's right.
All right. Great answer. Let's see what if you can top it with the next one.
I don't know. Let's see.
Hi, Karen. I'm a red-yellow mom, and my 16-year-old middle child son is blue as blue can be. He recently is pulling away from me when I suggest that we do things together. He is not interested. I'm pretty sure this is normal, but the yellow in me feels so rejected. Any thoughts? Will this get better? I used to be the light of his life. He slept on my chest for the first 6 weeks of his life. This mama needs encouragement because I feel sad and rejected. Thank you for all you do.
Aww. Well, I do know and understand that it's so wonderful for a 6-week-old to be laying on your chest, because Emily just had Ellie. No. And I have to say, for the past 8 weeks, I have loved letting her sleep on my chest while she's napping. So take heart, Mama. You will be a grandmother one day, and you will get that time back. And it's even more better. But anyways, I get it. And especially our sweet little blues, they love their space. And as moms, we have to learn to give our children their space. And as they get older, especially a boy, he's just doing what God created him to do. And that's to become a man. And I think he's just trying to pull away from his mom, not because he doesn't love you, not because he doesn't care about you, but he's trying to figure out what it looks like being a man and all of that. And I know even with me and Taylor, and I was a yellow-red and Taylor was a blue, I had to learn to give him his space in those teen years. And I couldn't even, Greg was the one that had to really talk to Taylor, discipline him, because he didn't want to hear it from me, as his mom. So, and I learned that from Dr. Stanley. He said that whenever his son, Andy, got in those teen years, his mom, he wasn't listening to his mom so good. So Dr. Stanley said, I had to really sort of step in and guide and discipline Andy when he was that age. I read that in a book one time. So that really helped me to know that it wasn't just Taylor, that it's just boys in general. And here's the deal. He will come back to you. I promise you. He really will. Taylor is 31 years old, and we still have a very special relationship. I just got off the phone with him right before we recorded this podcast, and he was just driving to his next appointment, and he wanted to check in with me, tell me what was going on with life. But there was a season where he spent a little bit more time in his bedroom when he was 16 years old, just chilling out, or wanted to go to his friend's house and not stay at our house. He did that a lot, but they will come back to us. We just have to give them some space and grace as they grow up and mature. But with our sons, I know it's tough.
Give them some space and some grace.
That's right.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. All right. Well, this podcast has been fun, but we only have one more question.
What? This is going too fast.
Too fast. Well, this question is long, so bear with me. I'm going to read this. It's a good question, but long questions throw me for a loop. Okay. Question 4. How do you handle keeping things fair in the teenage years? Specifically, I'm thinking about phones in my household. We gave our oldest son a cell phone when he turned 15, which was at the end of his freshman year. And our second child got hers around her 15th birthday, which was earlier, so it was about halfway through her freshman year. However, I'm already anticipating not being able to wait that long for my third teenager. The way the technology phones are part of everything now, I'm thinking we'll get him one early on in his freshman year. It feels unfair to my teens who had to wait longer, but honestly, the world has changed. Would you talk to the older two about it and give them a heads up in your reasoning? Did you just expect your kids to understand that life is not fair and deal with it? I know that probably will come up many times again with cars, colleges, stuff, etc.
Absolutely. Well,
I just want to say I wasn't laughing at the question. You said life's not fair. And Mom and Dad did say that a lot. So anyways.
And I don't think my kids just knew it automatically, but we did tell them a lot that life wasn't fair and that we were sorry, but this is just the way it is. I wouldn't necessarily bring it up to the older children. I would just wait and see if they bring it up to you. They may not even care or notice because they've already got their phones and they've moved on. But if they do say something like, that's not fair, he got his at the beginning of his freshman year and we had to wait till the end or middle of ours, I would just say, well, that's the way it worked and life goes on. Life's not fair. Basically, get over it.
Yeah.
So, it's not. We try to be fair with all of our children. I truly, truly, truly believe it all evens out in the wash.
Yes, ma'am.
I do think it does.
Mm-hmm.
But the baby usually does get things a little sooner than the others did.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Very true.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I think it's very true. I think life is not fair. And I don't think that they have to tell them because you said if they notice, they're going to notice. I mean,
yeah,
I noticed when Abby went to PG-13 movies when she wasn't 13 yet because we were all going and we're not going to be like, all right, Abby, you just stay here by yourself at the house.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Lord of the Rings. It wasn't anything crazy. But I mean,
I don't know. Lord of the Rings is pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
But we were all going and
you can't. And we did pitch a fit and your mom you and Dad were like, well, you know what, that's the way it is, so unless you want to stay back and babysit her, then you can just get over it. And basically we were like, all right, we're gonna get over it. So they'll survive. It's not the worst thing that could ever happen in their lives. There were other things that we got to do that Abby didn't get to do, and
it all evens out in the wash. It really does.
Yes.
And so pick your battles, people. Pick your battles.
That's right. Well, Mom, that's all we have for today. But I really enjoyed that episode. I thought it was some good nuggets of truth.
Thanks.
And teenage years are hard but good. And the good thing is God doesn't just throw you into those teenage years. He brings you up and you've got elementary, middle, and then you get to the teenage years.
That's right. And here's the deal. We all have to remember with our teens, they are growing into adults.
Yeah.
And that takes time and that is messy and they're going to mess up. And that's okay. That's where we as parents, like I said earlier, we just love them and give them grace.
Yes.
And teach them along the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to Wire Talk. And next episode will be in December.
Ooh.
So I'm really excited. We got some red and green Christmas stuff and it's going to be fun. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.